We're Hasani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Welcome to the Couples Academy Show, folks. My name is Hasani.
And I'm Lakeisha.
I love having Lakeisha on this show. I tell you, you get something new and different every single time. Lakeisha is all the way from Tampa, Florida. We're here in Atlanta, Georgia. I love it because our practitioners are stretched out all over this country and soon to be all parts of the world, because we have a mission to really help transform homes, transform marriages one by one, every square inch, every square corner of this earth. And so we thank them for their participation, for their support, for what they do, for showing up on this show. And so we're excited because we're going to start a new conversation today. We're talking about how to stop cheating. If that's you, if you're in a situation, you're trying to figure out, how do I get out of this thing? What are the steps? I'm ready to go. I just don't know how to do it. Well, today's your lucky day because we're going to unpack this in a comprehensive way. So listen, you're watching the Couples Academy Show. August 12th through the 14th is the last chance weekend. You do not want to miss that. It's the thing that we long for every single month because it allows us all to come together, but it allows us to impact relationships in amazing ways. So let's watch this quick testimonial and then we'll dive into today's topic.
Hi, my name is Carl Harris. I'm from Northern Virginia. And me at Couples Academy has been an amazing experience for me and my wife. I've learned so much. It saved my marriage. It allowed me to reflect, to learn, to grow as an individual, as a man, to learn how to be better and to have people around me that were hold me accountable, but to help me reflect and see things was super powerful. And it gave me perspective on how to be better towards my wife and how to start working on mending, fixing, healing my relationship, and believing that my marriage can be so amazing and great. Because for 17 years of marriage, I didn't feel like marriage could be happiness and bliss. But after this weekend, I feel like marriage can be what I envisioned it to be before I got married. And so I thank Couples Academy for allowing us, bringing us here and helping us. And thank you.
What a privilege and a pleasure to work with him and his wife. Their commitment to restoring their relationship. You know, they left different than how they came. And I think that's the wonderful thing about it. So many people come like, I don't even know if I want this. And they leave with new hope and inspiration for a better day. Don't you just love the last chance weekends, Lakeisha?
Absolutely do. I look forward to it every single time. Like you said, not just because, it's a CA reunion, but also, being able to see the transformation with the couples from Friday to Sunday is amazing.
So guys, we're talking about the topic, how to stop cheating. I think this is a very important topic because there's so many individuals who find themselves in situations and circumstances that they realize, I don't want to be in this anymore. Maybe there was some type of wake up call. Maybe I don't know. I mean, there's different things that motivates a person to get out. Interestingly enough, you may not realize this, but there's oftentimes an internal struggle within a person while they're still in the affair. Yes. So their mind is telling them to get out. Their heart is telling them to get out. Their body may be pulling them back into the situation. And it's just like there's this conflict within, this struggle that they have. And it's just like, I know I need to stop doing this, but for whatever reason, I can't stop doing this. And so they're trying to figure out how. There's sometimes, Lakeisha, where they're being blackmailed by their affair partner, and they're like, if I don't get out now, then you think, or maybe they get ultimatums from a spouse who finds out that the affair is happening, or there's an incalculable number of reasons. But let's walk through these steps to help you to get out of your situation. So number one, you've got to determine what type of affair you are in. I mean, if there's many classifications and categories of an affair, but if we had to strip it down to its most simplest terms, there's what we call the habitual cheater, and then we'll just call it the circumstantial cheater. Now, the habitual cheater is that individual who has been cheating for quite some time. Possibly it was their modus operandi, even prior to a relationship with you. This is what they've always done. They've been cheating in the past. And so it's not like people go through a metamorphosis and a transformation once they say, I do. They're the same person. And oftentimes they're engaged in the same behaviors. And so some people cheat because they're always seeking newness. They're always seeking affection once it dies out in a relationship. Some are risk takers. They love that high. It's just like a person who is a drug addict or addicted to anything. They're always after that feeling and they're searching for it. And when they don't have it in their relationship, they continue to do it. But a habitual cheat oftentimes is not in a long-term type of an affair. They're really short-term affairs because they're very physical in nature. They're fulfilling some drive or desire within. And interestingly enough, habitual cheaters oftentimes have less remorse than people who wind up in circumstances. And so you need to determine, is that who you are? Because the methodology and the pathway to your getting out and your recovery is different than someone who's a circumstantial cheater. A circumstantial cheater, we don't want to minimize this and make light of it and make it seem as if this is a better version. It is just a different version. This is an individual who may have experienced some challenges in a relationship, and because he or she did not have an effective approach or tools to know how to navigate through it, they disconnect from their partner and connect with someone else. It's someone who may not have proper boundaries. They weren't seeking to have an affair, but as we know, there's been an evolution of infidelity, and because of familiarity, because of closeness, because of we just communicate every day, one thing leads to another, and boom, there's an affair. There's many reasons how people get caught up in situations, but there's a difference. So the habitual cheater is one who may seek the affair out. The circumstantial cheater, that wasn't their purpose or their intent. They wound up in a situation that they did not anticipate, yet and still they're both in an affair and the damage is destructive. So number one, determine the type of an affair that you are in. All right, that's step number one. Step number two, Lakeisha, take it away.
So this is so funny to me because this is one thing I am always saying. You know, Hasani, I think you listen to me sometimes. Don't you hear me saying why? Like, we have to find the why. What is the why behind the behavior? So for me, that is critically important to identify that. So the question is, why do you want to change? Why do you want to change? And you have to ask yourself some really deep questions, and you have to be honest with yourself, because your motives for wanting to stop to cheat actually will dictate your success rate or the lack of success in a lot of ways, right? So some of the questions that you want to ask yourself is, are you afraid of losing your partner? And I love that you say this all the time, Hasani. Literally, men are often motivated by the fear of loss. So if it is a situation where they are afraid of losing their partner, and this is applicable to women too, like there's fear of losing your partner, and that definitely can help you to stop cheating, because you realize that I may lose it all if I don't stop what it is that I'm doing. Another question, are you afraid of losing your family and friends? If there are kids involved, you guys have mutual friends. If you think about people who've gone through divorce, the friends often feel like they have to pick sides. Like, okay, so am I taking the wife? Am I taking the husband? Who am I going to pick? And so a lot of times they're motivated by losing their friends. If there are no kids involved, if there are kids involved, then that usually takes priority over losing the friends. Are you embarrassed about what your children will think? Again, if there are children in the relationship, you know, you will at some point have to potentially explain to your kids what's going on if you don't stop cheating, if you don't change, if this continues and you guys end up separating, which Leads to the next question. Do you worry about your financial situation if you were to separate?
Mm.
And this is a big one, I think, again, when children are involved, because, sometimes the kids look at it in a positive way and say, yay, 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases. Like, that's the initial thought. But then they're not processing that, wait a minute, I have to pick who I'm going to spend these special moments with. I don't get mommy and daddy at the same time. So you do have to think about, splitting up your finances, splitting up your family, and what that's going to look like, because it does impact you financially. And so for those
Absolutely.
of you who are afraid to do the work to stay together, and you think, coming to Couples Academy to get support is expensive, think about how much it will cost to split your household and how much it'll cost for your divorce when you are questioning whether or not you should get support. Are you afraid of damaging your reputation? I don't know about you, Hasani, but I don't want to be remembered or recognized as a person who cheated on their spouse. That's not the reputation that I want to carry. I want to be remembered and recognized and have a reputation of one who worked hard and was a dutiful wife and a faithful wife and a good mom and a good friend and sister and all those things. And specifically professionally, that's definitely not the reputation that I want to have, as one who refused to change. Because how am I going to help you if I refuse to do my work? All right. And then, is there a chance that you might lose your job if the affair was exposed? Many of the affairs that occur, especially with the couples that we work with, a lot of times it starts on the job. And so it's with a coworker or it's with a colleague. And so there's usually no fraternizing. There's usually something in that agreement that you signed or contract that you signed that you are not supposed to be fraternizing, right, with your coworkers and colleagues. So are you afraid that literally you might lose your job if the affair comes out, if it's exposed, if it's with a coworker? And then when you get up into these top Fortune 500 companies and you're the big boss, you can't have a reputation of being unfaithful to your family. Believe it or not, these businessmen who are making 6 and 7 figures, there's a certain image that they have. It is that they are fit. It is that they are family men. They want to know that you are a family man because they want to see your level of commitment. If you are committed to a wife and you are committed to children and to a family and taking care of a home, then you'll be committed to our company and to our business and to our vision. So there's a certain image that flows with that. So you definitely want to make sure, again, that you have a good reputation. You're thinking about your job and your reputation and your future with the company that you're working with.
And real talk, what happens at the top trickles down to the bottom. When you have leaders that everyone is looking up to and they fall from grace, it has an impact on the behaviors of those who fall under them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is the affair affecting your health? Yes. It is affecting your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health. And a lot of times, this is what I've learned because I did, dibble dabble a little bit in the medical world for a time. And one of the things that I learned is that our mental and our emotional stress, it can have a physiological manifestation. So there are a lot of times where people, they go to the doctor, they're complaining about headaches or they're having heart pain, heart palpitations, they're having anxiety and all of these different things. And it could be stemming from some level of stress. And definitely if you are engaging in an extramarital affair, it is going to cause you some level of stress, which will ultimately affect your overall health, but definitely your, your mental and emotional and spiritual health. Is your lover demanding that you leave your spouse? If there is an emotional attachment that is formed with a long-term affair, at some point, it's going to be an ask. It is going to be a request. It's going to be an expectation, because what are you doing here? We've been together. We've been interacting with each other, spending all our time together. At some point, your lover's going to want more. And so that could be one of the reasons why the person refuses to change. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're on a roll.
You just amen and you giving me a high five.
I'll get you a virtual dollar once we're done with this.
All right. Has your spouse found out about the affair and given you an ultimatum? If your spouse finds out, absolutely, you're getting an ultimatum. You're going to have to choose. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. You will have to make a decision about what it is that you're going to do. And the last one, I think, that is probably most important out of everything on this list is, are you losing respect for yourself? One of the things that, again, I've shared multiple times, I think you have too, Hasani, is that, the Bible commands wives to respect their husbands and for husbands to love their wives. And one thing that I know for sure, if a husband does not feel respected in his home, it will make it difficult for him to love. And if he's not getting that respect in his home, then he will look outwardly for respect. By doing that, you ultimately begin to lose respect for yourself if that is not who you are at your core. If you are not a habitual cheater, you are a circumstantial cheater, you are going to lose some self-respect, because again, it's difficult for you to even look at yourself in the mirror, because this is not who you are. It's what you did, but it's not who you are. And so we are here to help you get back to you. We're here to help you navigate back to yourself, because we know that you lose yourself when you actually engage in extramarital affairs.
I mean, these questions are powerful, and I hope that you're taking the time to think through them, because these are the major decisions that you're going to have to make in terms of how you move forward. So listen, there's more to come. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're talking about how to stop cheating. This is that episode that you want to sit down and watch again and again and again and again. But listen, we'll be right back. Stay tuned for more tips on how to stop that affair. Hey guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Lakeisha just gave us oh my God, such probing questions that we need to begin to ask ourselves if we are in an affair. You know what? I don't even want to say a situation. I was working with a couple yesterday, and the words that were used, situation, the issue, the struggle, and I'm like, no, own it. Call it what it is. Let's not take a lighter, gentler approach to make us feel better about what we've done. Let's own it. And as I say all the time, when we minimize what we've done, we force our spouse to maximize what it is. We need to maximize it. We need to understand the damage and the hurt and the harm that's been caused by our actions so that it will thrust us out of this affair and keep us from ever going back again. Like literally our taste buds have to change if we're serious about ending an affair for good. So, and I think that brings us to the next step. And this is a very important one. You got to put yourself in your spouse's shoes, right? Put yourself in your partner's shoes, because I think a lot of times we can observe from a distance what they may be going through, but truly don't get it. But if we put ourselves in their shoes and begin to think, what if I were to go through what I see my spouse going through? Like if you think about a spouse when they find out about an affair, they experience, and often in many cases, like post-traumatic stress disorder, PISD, but there's post-infidelity stress disorder. And there's all types of emotional challenges that a person could go through. We've known many people who have become actually just numb. Like it's just like they're so shocked by what has occurred. They can't function. They can't talk. They can't eat. They can't sleep. They can't do anything. They're just in this numb, just almost like zombie-like state because they can't believe that their life, from their perspective, has come tumbling down. There are many people who experience sickness, like physically they can't hold anything down. Their health is affected. We already talked about the sleepless nights, right? People who are waking up having nightmares about what has happened, or they've gone for weeks with no sleep whatsoever. I mean, it's just a traumatic experience. They're unable to face the day. They can't function at work. They can't show up well. They're taking days off because they just have no attention span. They're sobbing endlessly. They're in tears. They're crying. Like when you think about that journey, if you were to put yourself in their shoes, and if you could feel what they feel. In fact, one of the questions is, can a person ever stop cheating? Or what motivates a person to stop cheating? And it's been agreed upon that when a person truly feels the pain that they've placed their partner through, they say, oh my God, I had no clue that you were experiencing this. I hate this feeling. I certainly wouldn't want you to have this feeling. So there's a level of empathy that has to be felt by the offending partner to keep them from wanting to do it again. And it's taking the focus off of oneself and putting the focus on their spouse. And this is why we say, if you're a person who's struggling with shame, we want you to graduate from shame to guilt, because shame is a focus on you, but guilt is a focus on the other person. And when you begin to think about what they're going through, think about their journey, think about their pain, and begin to imagine yourself going through that same situation, it will help to motivate you to get out of your affair and to never go back.
You know what, Hasani, too, it makes them be emotionally unavailable. Also, specifically when there are children involved, it's difficult for them to be emotionally available to anyone, but most importantly to their children, who they need everything. They need all of us as parents, right? And so for us to be unavailable emotionally is devastating psychologically and emotionally to our children. So that's something else to think about too.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the number four. Number four, Lakeisha, it's all in your hands. Let's get it.
Number 4, everyone, is avoid temptation. So we're talking about how to stop cheating, right? I live in a prevention box. I don't know about you, Hasani. I'm all about trying to be preventive. I'm with preventive care as well. I take my vitamins. I do what I need to do because I'm trying to avoid certain things from transpiring and taking place. So if you have been in an affair, right? Well, this is you stop cheating. So you've been in an affair, right? And you've made the decision that you want to stop the affair. There must be no contact with the previous partner. That means if you have to change jobs, change your phone number, your email, whatever your method of contact was. And a lot of times we hear with our couples, it's usually a lot of social media sites that they're using. Many different social media sites out there that they can actually access. So that means blocking them on social media. That may mean getting off of social media altogether, because sometimes they will have connected contacts on social media. So even though they've blocked the previous affair, the affair partner, they still may have a connection with someone else on social media. So you may just have to get off altogether for a time.
Yeah.
So the part that's very difficult, and I know couples that we work with, they look at us crazy when we say you may need to change your job, but I mean it's the reality of the situation. Because if it started at work and this is someone that you still have to work with on a regular basis, then stopping the affair, not getting back into the affair, may be virtually impossible for you to do. And so maybe if it's not changing the job, maybe it's a different department, if that's possible, but there has to be no contact going forward.
Absolutely. I think continuing in these steps, here's another great one as well. You have to identify what you risk by losing what you lose by cheating, in essence, right? There's a risk associated with this. Not only is there's the possibility of losing your marriage, there's the possibility of destroying your family. There's the possibility of losing relationship with your children. There's the possibility of your reputation going away. Now it's impacting your standing in the community. There's the possibility of couple friends. Like I see this all the time when couples divorce, like it impacts you because you're like, man, we used to vacation together and we used to do life together and we do holidays together. All that goes away. But not only is there the possibility of all that, let's say that your spouse decides to stay. All right. So you're not losing the marriage in essence. You're losing the relationship that you have within the marriage and you have to rebuild it. But there's other things that go. What if you have to possibly lose your home where you've developed all of these wonderful memories because the home is a trigger? If I had an affair with a neighbor or someone in the community and my spouse fears seeing them, she just can't take it anymore. Now we have to pick up and move. And we raised our kids in our home. We had holidays in our home. We had all these special memories, and all that goes away because of my involvement in an affair. What if I have to sell the car that I love because that was the car that I drove my affair partner in, or I was doing some inappropriate things inside of the car, and my spouse will never, ever, ever want to set foot in that car again. Now I got to sell the car for an older model, and it's just like, man, what a great loss. What if I have to stop going to the gym? I got to lose my gym membership, right? Because I was flirting with someone I shouldn't have been flirting with. I should have been in there working out, getting my body healthy because that's my focus and I have a desire for that. But now I got to give up my gym membership. What if I catch an STD? Right? Did we really consider that? Because when I looked at her, she didn't look like she had anything. But I got an STD, and because I'm having intimacy with my spouse, I then passed this STD on to my wife. What about that? What about the challenges and the risks associated with that?
I just need you to back the car up, Hasani. They didn't look like they had an STD. That's real. People think this way. Where literally, they look like they're good. That's not the answer.
At all. And we put all this trust. And first of all, let's just keep it real. Even if you are protective and you say, I'm going to put a condom on, what is that protecting you from? Do you know how many STDs are transferred with a condom? A condom, you know what? We need to do an episode on that because what we consider to be safe sex isn't really safe sex.
Not safe. Nope.
Oh my God. Anyway, what if you have a child with this affair partner? It was just physical. It was just sex. And the condom broke, or we didn't have one because we were caught up in the heat of the night. And then now she's pregnant and she refuses to get an abortion because that's not according to her value system. And so now I'm forced to now raise a child as a result of a one-night affair or a relationship that went too far. There are consequences and risks associated with this type of behavior. What if this ruins your professional reputation because you had an affair with someone on the job? Now, I know this all too well because I've worked in an organization where literally there has been infidelity with coworkers, with the secretary, and not only did it ruin that person's reputation, it led to their termination. It even had their spouse who was working at the job with them. They couldn't do it. Their reputation was tarnished. They had to, like, there's such a high level of consequence when you engage in this type of behavior. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but if you don't consider the consequences, and that's why I love the story of King David, right? King David is an individual who lost it all because he could not control his insatiable desire and had to pursue Bathsheba. And the Bible unpacks all of the consequences associated with that one act. And if we take the time to think through the possible consequences, it would motivate us to get out and to never, ever, ever look back.
Agreed. The only thing I wanted to add literally was about the potentially getting the lover pregnant, because the reality is that can be on both sides. It's not just the male who cheats and gets the affair partner pregnant. It could be
Very
the
true.
wife who cheated
Very
and
true.
she gets pregnant, and now the husband is the one who potentially has to raise another man's child. So again, we just have to move away from selfishness and move towards selflessness and get into communicating with each other about what it is that may be lacking or missing or that's going wrong in a relationship. Instead of looking outward, we have to turn inward to each other.
Let's hit these last two right quick before we end the show. Lakeisha, step 6, arrange to see a relationship or marriage counselor. Well, duh. Hit him up.
Absolutely. And a lot of times, you guys, there are many issues, many reasons why infidelity occurs, why a betrayal occurs. But a lot of times it's sex. A lot of times it is. So I'm your girl. Holla at me. I'm here for you. If it is not an issue within the bedroom, there's a host of practitioners here that can assist you guys with any challenges that you may be facing in your relationship. Last but not least,
And last but not least, guys, I think this is important. I think we have a little delay, but don't expect it to be easy. Just don't expect it to be easy. You've made a decision to do it. You may need guidance and support. We've had people who have come to us and said, listen, I want to end this affair. I don't know quite how to do it. Can you guide me through a process? And we're more than happy to do that, because even when you've got the plan and you know exactly what you're going to do, then you have to build up the confidence to go ahead and do it, right? You have to have the audacity to actually make it happen. And so many people have delayed and said, no, not the right time. And I figure, if based upon the situation, if I wait till, all of these excuses not to do what they know they need to do. And so this is why we encourage you to walk through the steps that we guide you through. And then you have to institute the no contact contract. And we'll deal with that at a later time. But the no contact contract keeps you from entering back into their world, reconnecting with them, opening up lines of communication after the decision was made. Because if you end it and then reconnect, then your termination of the affair lose its power. And so they're going to continue to contact you because you contacted them, and now you're back in this slippery slope. So it's not easy to end it, and it's not easy to stay out of it. And that's why you need assistance. So reach out to us. We hope that today's episode was helpful for you, gave you some insight of what you need to do. We encourage you to go to the website, couplesacademy.org, sign up for a discovery call. Let's talk through your situation to see how we can help you. But until then, listen, guys, we love you. And listen, have a great day. And we're going to start a new topic in the morning. So be there. Thanks, Lakeisha. Appreciate you. You do what you do best. Thank you.